You've spent years chasing a single number. You sacrificed weekend trips, said no to late-night dinners, and watched your friends spend freely while you quietly funneled every spare dollar into index funds and savings accounts. You convinced yourself that the day your balance finally reached six figures, a switch would flip. You'd step outside, breathe a sigh of relief, and finally feel secure. Then the morning comes. The deposit clears. You hit $100,000. But as you stare at that screen, nothing happens. The air feels the same. Your apartment looks the same. Your anxiety doesn't disappear. It just mutates. In fact, within 48 hours of reaching the milestone you fought for half a decade to hit, a strange hollow feeling settles in. Is this really it? If hitting your first $100K feels less like a triumph and more like a quiet disappointment, you aren't crazy. You've just bumped into a psychological trap that modern financial advice never warns you about. Here is the uncomfortable truth about crossing six figures, and why reaching it is only the beginning of a much deeper shift. To understand why $100,000 feels so underwhelming today, we have to look at where this obsession came from. For decades, pop culture, media, and traditional personal finance books hammered one idea into our collective subconscious. Six figures is the finish line. In 1995, having $100,000 meant you could buy a home outright in most suburban neighborhoods, drive a reliable car, and sit comfortably on a cushion that generated enough interest to make a real dent in your monthly bills. The problem is, your brain inherited a 1990s milestone for a 2020s economy. Today, after accounting for cumulative inflation, currency devaluation, and skyrocketing asset prices, $100,000 carries nowhere near the purchasing power it used to. It no longer represents wealth, it represents baseline stability. When you spend years operating under the belief that $100K will grant you complete financial independence, hitting that target causes a severe psychological mismatch. You expect to feel like a winner, but reality reminds you that rent is still due, gas is still expensive, and one unexpected emergency could still wipe out a significant chunk of your hard work. You didn't fail to reach wealth. The goalpost was moved before you even crossed the line. But the inflation of the dollar isn't even the biggest reason $100K feels disappointing. The real shock comes when you try to actually use that money. When you hear the phrase, "I have $100,000, your brain instantly visualizes a vault full of cash, or at least a bank account where you can withdraw tens of thousands of dollars at a moment's notice. But if you actually built that $100K through smart personal finance, you quickly discover a painful paradox. You are net worth rich, but cash flow broke. To reach six figures, you couldn't just leave your money sitting in a standard checking account letting inflation eat it away. You invested it. You locked it away in S&P 500 index funds, tax-advantaged accounts, or high-yield savings reserves, which means on paper your net worth says $100,000. But in your daily life, your spendable checking account balance looks almost identical to someone living paycheck to paycheck. This is the illiquid trap. You have built real assets, but you can't actually spend them without triggering tax penalties, selling off compounding investments, or dismantling the very foundation you spent years building. You realize that having $100K doesn't mean you can go drop $5,000 on a spontaneous trip or buy a new car without feeling financial anxiety. Ironically, people with $10,000 in liquid cash often feel richer in their daily lives than someone with $100,000 tied up in investments because they can spend freely without thinking about opportunity cost. Every dollar you spend at $100K feels like pulling a brick out of the fortress you worked so hard to build. So you are sitting on a massive milestone that you can't really touch, living on a strict budget to protect it. Naturally, you look around for someone to share this milestone with. And that brings you to the hardest part of the entire journey. The silent social tax. There is an unspoken rule in modern society. We talk openly about how hard it is to be broke, and we talk openly about being ultra wealthy. But nobody talks about the strange, awkward middle ground. The moment you cross that $100,000 threshold, your relationship with the people around you subtly and permanently changes. At first, it's small comments like that. Jokes from friends or family members who assume that because you've been saving aggressively, you must be swimming in cash. They don't see the years of discipline, the missed vacations, or the tight budgets. To them, six figures sounds like Hollywood money, and that creates the alienation gap. When you experience financial anxiety worrying about inflation, taxes, or market downturns, you can't talk about it with friends or family who are struggling paycheck to paycheck. If you mention that you are stressed about money while sitting on a $100K net worth, you sound out of touch, tone deaf, or ungrateful. You realize that financial growth comes with an unexpected tax, social isolation. You can no longer comfortably complain about money with the people you're closest to, because your realities are diverging. You are playing a different game now, but you have to play it in complete silence. And because you feel this subtle isolation, this quiet frustration that hitting your goal didn't bring the external validation you expected, your brain starts looking for a shortcut to feel rewarded. That's when the most dangerous trap of all begins to whisper to you: lifestyle creep. When people hear the term lifestyle creep, they imagine someone hitting a financial milestone and immediately leasing a sports car, buying designer clothes, or moving into a penthouse apartment. But true lifestyle creep isn't a sudden explosion of wild spending. It is an invisible creeping tide of tiny upgrades. Once your account touches $100,000, your subconscious relationship with money shifts. You tell yourself, "I've worked hard for years. I can afford the better coffee. I can order food tonight instead of cooking. I can pay an extra $50 a month for the gym upgrade." None of these micro decisions ruin you individually, but collectively they raise your baseline cost of living. This is the micro creep paradox. You didn't buy a yacht yet somehow. At the end of the month, your savings rate drops back down to where it was when you were earning half as much. You find yourself earning more, holding a six-figure net worth, yet feeling just as constrained every month as you did when you started. You sacrificed for years to reach this milestone, expecting it to give you breathing room. Instead, you built a slightly higher wall of monthly expenses around yourself, leaving you wondering why you feel stuck in place. And that leads directly to a quiet crisis of purpose. For years, your identity was built on one thing: the chase. You were the person who budgeted strictly, sacrificed short-term pleasure, and ground every single day toward a clear, tangible goal: $100,000. That goal was your compass. It gave every dollar saved a distinct purpose. But what happens when you finally capture the target you spent half a decade hunting? The momentum suddenly stops. You hit the milestone. The dopamine spike fades after a couple of days, and you are left facing an unexpected trajectory void. You ask yourself, what now? Do I just do this exact same grind for another 5 years to hit $200K? This post-achievement slump breaks many people. Some give up on their discipline and spend recklessly because the goal is already met. Others double down with obsessive anxiety, fearing they'll lose what they worked so hard to build. What almost no one realizes in this moment is that $100K was never meant to be a destination where you stop and live. It was designed to be an engine. And once you realize how that engine actually operates, every feeling of disappointment vanishes, replaced by the single greatest realization of your financial life. Hitting $100K feels disappointing only because you are looking at what it can buy you today, instead of understanding what it will do for you tomorrow. Charlie Munger famously said that the first $100,000 is a nightmare. It's a slow, agonizing grind where every single dollar comes strictly from your own manual labor and sacrifice. When you were at zero, your money worked for nobody. But at $100,000, assuming a standard 7 to 8% return, your money starts generating $7,000 to $8,000 a year purely on its own. It is no longer just savings. It is an invisible employee working 24 hours a day, 365 days a year without taking a break. The second $100K doesn't take another 5 years of grueling sacrifice. It arrives in half the time. The third comes even faster. You haven't just accumulated a number. You have constructed a mechanical flywheel that will eventually generate more income every year than your 9 to -5 job ever could. So if your account just touched six figures and you're sitting there feeling disappointed, stop. Take a breath. You didn't waste your time and you didn't miss the mark. You simply completed the hardest, ugliest phase of building wealth. The foundation is poured. Now, the real growth begins. If this perspective gave you clarity today, hit the subscribe button and join us as we navigate the hidden psychology of wealth. I'm Mafu, and I'll see you in the next video.